Welcome back to my channel. Today I got a special deck profile from my buddy Pascal.
Hi, I've got a SIlent Swordsman deck for GOAT format to profile for you guys. I really like the level archetypes in GOAT. SIlent Swordsman and all of them aren't that good, or I thought they weren't good. When I first got the SIlent Swordsman, I thought it was a massive waste of money when I play tested with them. But actually, I found a version which seems to work pretty well, and I think there could be a few more adjustments made to make it a bit more competitive, but it actually runs pretty smoothly, and yeah, it can have a decent matchup against certain meta decks in GOAT.
Alright, let's check it out.
Okay, so we're going to start the deck profile with 3 copies of SIlent Swordsman level 3. 3 may seem like a lot because he's not really good monster standalone, but we're playing Skill Drain in the deck, and pretty much every single card in the deck will synergize with Skill Drain, so it's important to have enough targets because our monster count is actually fairly low. And his effect is he is unaffected by spell cards, which is fairly mediocre, but it comes into play sometimes if they have a Book of Moon. And he levels up by staying alive until the standby phase, in which case you send him to the grave and you special summon level 5. So we're also maxing out on the level 5. He's got the same effect, which is he's unaffected by spells, so they can't Book of Moon him, they can't snatch him. And his level up condition is a bit more specific. He needs to attack directly, and then he doesn't level up like all the other levels immediately after doing that during your standby. You actually have to wait another turn and then a level up. So that's one of the reasons I'm actually thinking of cutting the level 7. The level 3 and level 5 package is actually really decent, and if you wanted to play a Chaos variant, that would provide a decent Chaos fodder as well. But 3 of him for now, and I'm playing the 1 level 7. As I said, if I wanted to make this more competitive, I would probably cut him. The level 5 is great, you can tribute summon him. If you've got like a Sangan or something that gives you very good searchability throughout your deck. The level 7, you can't summon him except for off the level 5's effect. So he's got a very good effect when he's out. He is a spell canceller, but getting him out is very difficult. So I would probably side one for Alt Windex or like a Reasoning Gate where you can get him out fairly easily, but he's mediocre at best. Other cards we're going to be playing, DD Warrior Lady. You can get it off your Shining Angel, and it works under Skill Drain, so it's an out for anything. Exalt Force, again, you can Rhoda it, works under Skill Drain, out for anything. This card is okay, it's pretty much a filler monster. It's going to be a Goblin Attack Force. It's just something that can crash with a Chaos Orc, and if you have a Skill Drain up, it can be pretty good. Then we're playing a Sangan as well. Sangan searches like 90% of your deck, very good. And then you're playing your Floater, which again, very, very good, because if they hit your Shining Angel, you can get a free 2300 beater that's not affected by spells. You can get a DD Warrior Lady to have anything. This deck's biggest problem, I'd say, is Jinzo, if you don't have the Skill Drain up already. So if they have a Jinzo, you just attack this in, grab a DD Warrior Lady, and out their Jinzo. And then we're also staying with a theme of warriors that work under Skill Drain with Rhoda, so we're playing 3 DD Assailant. Again, this card is amazing. It's pretty much always going to trade 1 for 1. And then we're going to move on to the spell lineup. That is all of our monsters, so fairly small monster count. No Chaos monsters. As said, there's a possibility of like putting a Zombira in, taking out the Goblin Attack Force, and then you could play BLS if you want to. But for spells, I'm playing 2 copies of Reinforcements. Searches pretty much everything you want. I'm playing a Heavy Storm, a Premature. I'm playing a Warrior Returns Alive just because sometimes you want to reuse your Exiled, or if they pop your DD Warrior Lady or SIlent Swordsman, you can just get them back. There's a Pot of Greed in there as well, obvious, your Trinity, Graceful, and Duo. And then we're also playing the Snatch, which can work really well with level 5, because you just tribute something away, summon a big guy. If you're actually playing a level 7, this is even better, because you just Snatch, Tribute, Attack into their open board, and then you get a Spell Canceller, and then 1 MST. So that's it for our spells. And the trap lineup is a lot bigger than most regular decks. So we're going to play our basic 4, which is the Torrential, the Mirror Force, the Ray of Destruction, and the Call of the Haunted. And the reason this deck works, I think this is what gives it a decent matchup against like Chaos Control and stuff. If you don't see this, it struggles. Is the 3 Skill Drain in the main. Literally every single card in your deck works with Skill Drain. so it's perfect. The level ups can still send and level up under skill drain, so just turn into big beaters for free. Then I'm playing 3 Wabaku. My main reasoning behind this is because if people see like a Silent Swordsman level 3, they're not really gonna like waste an Exiled Force or anything on it. So you can just set a Wabaku and pretty much know it's gonna survive. It's also really good against all the super hyper aggro decks. You set the Wabaku and you're safe for the turn. I would potentially cut a Wabaku or 2 and put some Sakuretsu armors in just for a good trade. And then we're also going to be playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Keeps you alive, keeps your deck going, and you can generate a lot of damage output really fast, right? You level up your Silent Swordsman level 3, and you summon one of your beaters. Pretty much everything in this deck is at least 1400. Your DD Assailants are 1700. You're putting a lot of damage on board in 1 turn for GOAT. So, yeah, that's the deck profile.
So, you mentioned Jinzo briefly, but what exactly is like your weaknesses of your deck here?
So I'd say the deck is very trap reliant, and it's also kind of, sometimes it can be 2-card. It's designed to not be like too 2-card reliant, but all the Silent Swordsmen need protection, because you're playing 3 of the level 3 who's a Peewee, so you need like a Wabaku or a Mirror Force or something to defend him. And otherwise, this deck doesn't really have as many outs to hand control, so if you're playing against like a gear-free deck or you're playing against Chaos Turbo, if you don't have your skill drain, you're going to be pretty far behind. So the skill drain is very, very important to have, and if they can keep skill drain off the field, it's pretty difficult for you. And as said, if you don't have protection for your level 3, he's very mediocre, and he often won't survive. You always want to see the Shining Angel, because the Shining Angel will pretty much guarantee you, if they attack into you, that you'll get that level 3 into a level 5, you'll thin your deck, and you'll get a good level upgrade. But if he's just out by himself, like a lot of the times early game, you don't want to waste a Judgment to protect a level 3. So I'd say back row hate is another big weakness of the deck, or just somebody who's able to like push through and kind of play patiently around your cards so they can hit your Silent Swordsman before they can level up, or remove your floaters like your DD Assailants and stuff that will pretty much be guaranteed 1-for-1 without them going off.
Alright, so what do you think what's your advantage of this deck? I know like when I played you that one time, the surprise factor of just busting out the level 5 guy clapped my cheeks a bit there, but what would you say is a good matchup for you?
So I'd say it's actually like a very grindy control deck. If you have skill drain up, you're like pretty much going to beat Chaos Control in the main decks. Their main monsters that they're going to summon are obviously BLS and Chaos Sork. You can just keep floating around into this guy, right? And he'll tie a Sork that's in attack. He'll be able to crash with that. And if it's in defense, it's a free kill. So that matchup isn't bad if you see the skill drain. I think the Defusion matchup is actually a very good one. Because you play the Wabakus, you play a bunch of stuff. So the Wabaku here will keep you alive. The DD Assailant will also keep you alive. And if they don't have the Defusion right away, if you're a later game, with your Rotas and stuff, you're pretty much always adding this, or you're going to add your DD Warrior Ladies. And their Dimension Fusion is going to give you pluses too, right? And all these guys that you're getting back off their Defusion, it doesn't matter how big their monster is, if they don't have like a tribe or some removal, they're going to 1-for-1. So it puts them in a pretty difficult spot late game.
Any last tips you want to give to people who want to try your deck?
Yeah, I'd say give it a go. It's actually really fun and surprisingly decent. As said, like, against some of the regular GOAT matchups, I was surprised by how well the deck did. It's just skill drain is very strong in this format, and having monsters that pretty much all float or trade is very beneficial in this format. And as you stated, like, you wouldn't really think that being unaffected by spells is a huge thing, but being completely immune to Book of Moon and Snatch Steal comes in handy a lot more than you'd think.
Alright, thanks for the profile. If you guys want to check it out at home and try it, maybe test with some other cards that you like as well, you're free to do that. Until the next time, peace out.